Hello, welcome once again, sir. All right. So we're looking at how to extract those could be finance data or accounts data relating to any kind of tax. Most especially as an accountant, most of the things I do, the examples I use, I oftentimes relate it to accounts thing. Okay. So we're looking at how we can actually extract those kind of data either by writing, using those Excel VBA codes, depending on how you want to do it. As we work with Excel or phones or using other automated methods. And the VBA is one automated methods you can actually use when you want to. Either you want to extract your data or you want to sort your data, whatever you want to do. Okay, so don't get confused because I can decide to change this from extract to sort. So it's still having same thing. So looking into that, one of the first things you need to know here is the issue of sorting your data, because as someone that wants to, maybe you have a record, of course, when we're talking about VBA, it's more like using macros when you want to have those, your tags, get to rerun depending on what you want to work on. So the process here, which you will be doing with your VBA, is just ensuring that you're able to arrange those data. For example, if I should navigate directly to my record here on Excel, you can see that we are having this data, okay, which is for our account balances for all our customers. Okay, so that process is just going to involve us being able to arrange this data into some meaningful order to make it easier to understand, to make it easier to analyze, to make it also easier to visualize. And it's part of those tasks which you are expected to also look into, which is very important. So we are going to look into how we'll be able to do that using this VBA on how this can actually be taken care of. Okay, so to get started, we are going to open our VBA, which is over here from the developer section. Then we'll go to the VBA here. Here we have it seated right here, right? But on our VBA, there is a particular concept we normally use, which has to do with the advanced filter. So I'm just going to show you quickly how the advanced filter work from basic Excel. Then we'll see how we can use the VBA to just write those simple codes on how we can sort out those data or to extract those data. Either we're extracting it to another sheet, depending on what you want to do. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so if I have this data and I wanted to sort out some specific information relating to the component which I need, okay, relating to the component which I need. So what am I going to do? First of all, I am going to use on basic Excel, I'm going to use a feature called the advanced filter. We all know this normal filter, but there is the advanced filter. So I'm going to use that very feature. But right here, I'm not going to use it until I'm able to sort out the criteria which I actually want to sort my data to, because there are criteria you might want to sort your data, which are like the components you need to meet. Okay, so what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to turn on the advanced filter. But before that, let me bring up my criteria. So I'm just going to, so let me create a new, let me just create something new here. Let me insert, come over here to where we have our cell group. So I'm going to click on insert. I believe you can hear me. So I'm going to click on insert here. So I want to insert new sheet rows. So I say insert new sheet rows. So I'm going to insert more sheet rows. So I have enough space to put in the criteria. All right, I think this is okay for me. Okay, so once I've done this, I'm just going to highlight those components, which are the criteria. So I can bring them over here, paste them here. Okay, perfect. So let's say we want to analyze this based on some certain criteria we want to achieve from this data set. So I'm just going to come, let's say we are focusing on the account balances and we're asked to sort out all those customers whose account balance is greater than, let's say 40 or 4 million. So I'm just going to say 4 million naira. Because you know you can also format these numbers, currency format. Good. So I'll just say 4 million naira. Say greater than 4 million naira. Greater than 4 million naira. Okay, so we're going to sort out this data based on this criteria we have here. And you know, on a normal base, we will not be able to do that. So we're going to use that of the advanced filter. So to use that, I will come to my data tab, click on advanced filter. It brings this advanced filter screen. Right here, we have list range. The list range is going to be what we call the current region, which is majorly where is that area that the data set is, which you want to sort out from. So this becomes my current region, which is the list range. So once I've captured that, the criteria range, where are those criteria? So I'm going to click on that tab, then I will be able to come over to select the criteria range, which is this. So once I've done that, we now have the section that says copy to. So where do I want to copy? Where do I want to copy this to? For that, I'm going to select copy to another range. Okay, so if it's in this very place, I'll leave it, filter this data, or sort out this data for me from this very place. But if I want to take it to another location, I'll just select copy to another location. I'll click on that copy to. Then I select the location or area where I want to place my data. Maybe I want to place that data over here. Okay, so I'll just come over here, or depending on where I want to keep it. So if I'm doing that, all I have to do is just to say, okay, okay. So if I say okay, you can see that I've just been able to filter this information here. And of course, you know, in Excel, if you want to expand to ensure that all data fits in the cells correctly, you just have to highlight all your data, double click on the first column. So you can have every information spread out completely without error. So you can see right here, this represents those account balances of customers that are far greater than 4 million naira. Okay, so what if I want to make any adjustment? Okay, let me say those that are greater than 5 million. So if I should also want to do that, all I have to do is just to change this to 5 million, say enter. Now, when I say enter, it's not going to update unless I go back and click on my advanced filter. At this point, I don't need to make any changes. I just have to click OK. So when I click OK, you can see the changes of those clients whose balances are greater than 5 million naira. Same way, if I want to target, maybe I want to run analysis to sort out all those clients who have savings accounts with the bank, I'll just say savings. Okay, so this for account type, the criteria is savings. So all I have to do also is just to go to advanced and say okay. So as I do that, you can see the adjustments showing me over here, over here. Remember, it's over here, it's not this very one here. The reason is because I didn't use this. Okay, I didn't use, if I go back to that advanced, you can see where we have filter the list in place. And I want it to be in this place, I did not say copy to another location. So don't look at what we have here. I can clear what we have here. Clear content. So your focus should be here because I said in this place, I didn't copy it to another different location. So what it then means is that if we are saying, okay, all those clients who have current accounts with the bank, if I say current accounts, I just have to click on advanced. Action, I say filter the list in this place, this current region. That's where I want the changes to be updated in my data set. So I'm just going to click OK. You can see it brings out all those who have current accounts. If I say all those who have savings accounts, savings, I'll also come and click advanced filter. And I say what? Okay. You can see in this same current region, it displays all those clients whose account type is what? Savings. So that's just that of the advanced filter in that section. Same way, you can also use this different location where you have, okay, maybe let's say I want only information about, I don't want information about customer ID. and I don't also want information about this. Okay, so I can say let this be account type, this account type, and let this one be, we just want customer's account type and all the account balances. Okay, maybe, yeah, or the customer's name. Maybe we want just the customer's name, and because we want the customer's name and their account balance. Customer's name and account balance. So I'm just going to clear this. Just going to clear these two contents. All right. So we want just the customer's name and their account balance. Okay. So what I'm going to do at this point, let me just expand this quickly. So what I'm going to do at this point, I'm just going to come over here and say what I want is the customer's name. The customer's name. Maybe I want to extract a particular customer called Simon, and let's say we're working with let's say we're working with account type. So let me just change this to account type and account balance. Account type and account balance. So let's say we want to sort out all those customers who have current accounts, and their balances. Okay, who have current accounts and their balances. So what I'm just going to do, I'm also going to go to the advanced filter. But now my current region is going to change. If I don't want it to be filtered or sorted out in this place, I don't want the changes to be in this place. Instead, I want it to be in another location. So I'll click copy to another location. When I do that, I'll now come copy to where? I'll now come and select. Since it's just account type and account balance I need, I'll select only the two. Then I'll come down. When I come down, I will say okay. Okay, so if I say okay, I'm going to have that information displayed. So let's do that again. Let's say criteria range. So this is a criteria range. Now copy to another location. Okay, so say okay. So once you've done that, you'll be able to get that data, that particular data sorted out. So let's also sort it out to another location. Let's say copy to another location. Let's say using here to do that. So you can see right here that we have those customers' information, and also all the customers whose ID. You can see the customers whose account type is what current, and also their account balances. So that's just how to do that using the filter. So let me just clear all this filter. Just clear all this filter that we have here, and let me also clear this area one. So same way, if you still want to work in here, you can also do what? Change this to maybe we want all those whose accounts and their balances as savings. Same way, I'll click on advanced filter, and reaching here, I'll say copy to another location. The location is where is this location. So if I'm changing this information, you can see all those customers whose account type as savings are also being displayed here for us to see. So this is just a sharp, quick way of using the advanced filter here to perform these tasks. But now, using the VBA codes, which you're going to write, is one of the fastest way, or if not the fastest way to do this. I'm going to show you how to do this in just 3 minutes. So to perform such tasks, you might be working with a large data set, and where you have various conditions you might want to meet up with. Okay, and same way you can even put an account balance. You want the customers whose account type is savings and whose account balance is 2 million naira. Is 2 million naira. Okay, whose account balance is 2 million naira. Same way, you have to come to advance. Okay, copy to another location. If it's the same location you have targeted, you just say okay. So you can see it brings that very clients. Here we are meeting two different criteria or conditions. So you can see that the only customer whose account type is savings and whose account balance is 2 million is great, and you can see it displayed for you. But when you're using the VBA code to do that, you don't need to pass through most of these processes. You just write codes, automatically process this for you, running it straightforward. So to do that, I'll come to my developer tab, come straight to my VBA through clicking this Visual Basic, and it brings this screen. This is the environment, and of course, the environment is made up of several components. Like we have the VBA Project Explorer, which is used for navigation purposes, which I said, always go to your View tab, click on the Project Explorer, and it's going to bring it up, which is this section. And I said you can hide it by right-clicking and selecting Hide. Okay, and you can bring it back by going to View menu and clicking Project Explorer. Then I talked about the properties window. I use it to edit each of these objects that are found on this VBA project section, which I said all these are called objects, and you can edit the object because each of these objects have a sheet, a workbook, first of all, which is a folder, and the sheet, okay, which contains the internal and external name. I can see if I minimize this, always drag this by the edge, use this arrow and adjust this so you see your screen, so you know what you're doing. Okay, so now if I said, let me drag this, you can see that the name of this sheet is data. That's why we have it here, sheet 1, then data. So the sheet 1 here is the internal name, the data here is the external name. That's the internal name cannot be changed. It's the data, the external name here that can be changed using the properties window. If I want to change this name here now, I just have to come on this properties window. If I close this window, I'll go to View menu, click on properties window. When it pops up, I'll come down to this section here where we have name. First thing you have to do, select which of those projects you're working on. Then on this properties window, come down here, change this name. If I change this name to food, or my country, they have an election coming. So I say election and I say enter. What do you observe? If you look down here, you see that the name have changed. Okay, to what? To election. The name have changed to election. So that's what the properties window does for you. It enables you to be able to make adjustments when you want to edit the name, whatever kind of adjustments you might want to do. You can see it there. So you can also hide it and also bring it back from clicking view, and it's movable. You can move it to anywhere you want it to be and decide to keep it here. But now the good thing being able to run such type of analysis using the VBA is that within the VBA, there is a section we call the code window where you'll be able to write your codes that are going to be used each time you want to sort out data from your large data set. Okay, so to do that, you go over to Insert and click on what we call model node. So the model is what we use to capture the code window where you're going to write your codes for sorting out your data, extracting your data either from one sheet to another sheet, from workbook to another workbook, and so on. So if I want to do that, I will come to my Insert tab, click on model. So each sheet you're working on must have a model. So also, if you're a fast learner, at this point, if I want to change my model name, which name, how will I do that? I'll also use my, go to view and come down to what properties window and change from model 1. I will use which name? I'm going to call it data. So if I call it data and I click enter, you can see models have changed. The model 1 name have changed to data. Same way, if I want to change sheet 1, I'll just go and select sheet 1 on this properties window. I'll come down here and then say what? I'll change the name also to what? To data. If that's the name I want to call it. Bank data, bank customers data, whatever. And then I say enter. So once I do that, you see the name have changed. Okay, the name have changed. So that's just how to use those windows. And you can also drag this to close. So this becomes the code window. This is where you write your codes. This is where you write your codes. And a quick one, all these sections are the menu bar and the toolbar. They contain all tools you'll be using to write your codes, to perform your tasks using the VBA, to run your analysis. And also, we have this little drop down, which is called the run sub. So you use it to execute. Each time you're done, use it to execute. We have the debug you use to debug, okay, to debug each of your statements you've written. So now let's see how we can actually use the VBA each time we want to sort out our data or to perform our tasks in this case. Okay, so to do that, let me just clear this. To clear, you can come over, highlight what you want to clear, come to data and say clear. So if you clear, you've seen that you've cleared all information. Yeah, these are all the data we have. So I'm just going to also clear this. Okay, so let me also clear what we have here. We're done with this. All right, so let's go back to our VBA. To go back, developer tab, we say Visual Basic to bring it up for you. So now each time you're doing this, first step you need to know is that whenever you're writing your code, so you're going to start with a particular statement we call sub. So I'm just going to use that sub, and you're also going to be declaring each sub you've written. So just flow with me. So I'm just going to say sub. And what I want to do, I want to use advanced filter to do what? To sort out data, to filter data, to extract data from my data set. So once I say sub, I'll then say use advanced filter. Now, where do I want to sort this data to? Is it to another sheet? If it was to another sheet, I will now say use advanced filter to that very sheet. But since that's like I'm copying it, to another sheet. But now I want it to still be sorted out in this same sheet. So I will say in place, in place. So that's why you see me say in place, because I want to use advanced filter provided by Excel VBA to sort out this data within the same place. So I say in place, then I say enter. So if I say enter, you see these two brackets pops up on its own. It means that we are good to go. Now I'm going to use a statement that we call dimension, but the short name is dim. So each time you're writing a statement, you have to declare that statement, okay? Because the reason is because you're working with variables here, and a variable in programming is like a variable in mathematics, which stands in the place of a value, okay? And that value, can be changed. So it's expected that when you're writing your VBA code, you're expected to always declare the variables, which is like telling VBA what data type will go into the variable. So always make sure you declare your variables, because it helps VBA, to know what data type to choose for your variable. So it's very important for you to do that. And like I always used to say, before ever you even start declaring your variable, you can comment. You can comment. There's nothing bad. You use your one quote, write a comment. I can say this code is used to extract data, or will be used to extract data, to extract this data. I say enter. Nothing is bad for you to write a comment, and this is what we call comments. You can comment using your quotes. But on a quick note, what you're expected to do is to use what we call the dim statement. The dim statement. So always declare. That's what you use the dim statement for. Use it to declare, okay, that you want to do this. You're declaring the specific name, like you want to assign specific data type to that name. So I'm going to say my dim, okay, to declare. Now, what do I want to declare? Remember, I want to sort out from these ranges. So I'm going to declare first thing, the range of this data set I have here. So I'll say declare, that's dim Aruji. Now, where is the data set? What's the range of the data set? This is the range of the data set. That's how I'm now going to say dim this range of this data set. So I say data. What's the name of the data? What's the name of this data set? The name is on the sheet name, and that's what data. If you look at the top, you see that's also the name data. So for that, I will say range data. So if you whatever is the data set name, okay, the sheet name, that's what you put there. So it just represents the range of the data that you want to sort out your data from, you want to extract your data from. So once you have done that, I will say I want to declare this range of this data as a range. I use this object browser. I believe you know what object browsers are when you're writing the VBA codes. So I'm going to select these object browsers. Just like in SQL, we have different command statements. Okay, the select statement, the create statement, the use statement, a lot of those statements, the distinct statement, and others in SQL. Same way here we have them. Here we call them object browsers. So you're going to browse. I want to use this. I'm declaring that I want VBA, that anywhere VBA sees Aruji, the data and the data set name, you should know that that's the range of the data I want to capture. So I'm just going to use my tab key to select that, and then I say comma. Now also I'm going to declare the criteria we want to use. These criteria. I'm also going to declare it saying Aruji, okay, criteria. So that becomes the criteria. I'm also going to declare it as a range. So you can see me declare it as a range, okay, meaning that this is the criteria we are using. That's what it means. I'm declaring that this is the criteria we are using. I'm declaring it as a range. Once I finish declaring, the next thing you have to do is to set what you have declared. So at all times, always make sure first thing is to declare. Second thing is, have you set what you want to declare? Because it's very important for VBA to be able to read this. Remember, it's codes we are writing here. So you must declare and you must set what you're declaring. So I'm just going to say set. Okay. So now what do I want to set? I want to set this range data that we have written here. I want to set it. So this is just what I'm going to do right here. This is just what I'm going to do right here. Just okay. So I'm going to say set range data. So I'll say that same range data. I want to set it. Okay. Now I say equal to, I say this workbook. This is a workbook. And in this workbook, we have this sheet. And that's the reason why we refer to VBA as a type of programming language we call the object-oriented programming language, because at all times it ensures that you capture what you are trying to look into, which is very important. So I'm just going to do this quickly. I say this workbook. Then I use an object browser that in this workbook, there's a worksheet where we're working on. So I say worksheets, and I select the worksheet. After selecting the worksheet, I'm going to put in my bracket open and then select what? The data set, which is the name of the data. Okay, the name of this sheet or this data. So I say the name is what? Data. If it's customers data, you type it there. So I say data. So once I've done that, I use my double quotes, and then I say bracket open and bracket close. I say full stop, then I say range. Now, when I say range, that you can see here, I'm not going to specify, okay, this data set, this range of this data, where is it I want to extract from? This is the range. So I'm not going to highlight it. Instead, I'm going to select where the range starts from, which is from column A, row 5. So I'm going to say double quotes A5, then double quotes, then I say bracket close. And once I do that, I'll then say full stop and then specify the range starts here. So where is the whole data set? This is the whole data set. So I'm going to use a statement we call current region. So I say current region. Now I'm going to tell you what current region does for you. I say current region. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is this. Okay. What I'm going to do here is this. So when I say current region, this is what current region means. Current region means Current region means that this is my range of data. Where is the current region? The whole area where you have your data set. This is just what current region does for you. It automatically captures that this is the whole data set. It's just like you using Control Shift down side to copy and to highlight that data. So that's what it does for you. So the same way I've done this, I'm also going to also look into how I'll be able to also set also for the criteria. Okay, we just have 10 minutes to go. I'm sure we are learning together. So I'm just going to copy this and then come down and say paste. So when I paste this information, we just change this because I also want to set this for the criteria. So I'll say I also change this to criteria. So once I change this to criteria, you can see right here what we have. Now the criteria range is going to change. The number is going to change to A1. The reason is because you check, where do we have our criteria specified? It is in A1. Is that not so? So it's in A1. So that's why it also has to change to what? To A1. It also has to change to A1. So the current region, this is the current region that captures everything there. So I'm just also going to come down. The current region for the criteria is this region. So I'm also going to specify that. So I'll come down here. So once I come down here, what I'm going to do is a little one. It's a little thing I'm going to do right here. So just flow with me. What I'm going to do at this point, okay, is that I'm now going to come down and write my final code, which I will say Aruji, that same date. What's the name of the sheet? Data. I bring my object browser and browse the advanced filter from this object browser list. It's advanced filter. Then I give a space. Okay, once I give a space, it brings this right up below. Just select the right up. It's a command statement. So I'm just going to select this right up, or I click on my tab key. You can see it brings Excel filter copy. Now, if I wanted to sort out this data to another sheet, that's when I'll be using this filter copy. But I don't want to do that. Instead, what I want to do in place, okay, I want to put it in place, in the same place. So I'll just say in place. So in place. Okay, so you can decide to change this, okay, this filter in place. If you don't want to type it, you can as well decide depending on how you want it to be. Okay, of course, you should know that you can also use the object browser to browse out if you want to you wanted to select a variable or a data, or you want to show, depending on what you want to do, whatever commands you want to make, you want to sort, you can also use a lot of them, whatever you want to do. Okay, but if it comes to this aspect of extracting it faster, you use the advanced filter, and that's the more reason why I did not waste time. Instead, I just come and select advanced filter. I believe you can see that. So once you have done that, just say your equal to sign. If you don't want to type in the filter in place, filter it in this same place for me. You can just use your space, then you select it here, filter in place, double click, it's selected. Then what do? You say comma. After you say comma, you give your space, then you say Aruji criteria. What's the criteria range? This is it here. So either you copy it or you just type it correctly. So I can just say this is my criteria range. So once I'm done with that, that's all I need to do. So I will just go straight, type in the criteria I want to sort out or extract my data based on. Then I click on run. If I click on run, you can see it sorted out all those clients that has savings accounts for me. So if I want to know those clients, since I've already programmed this, I want to know those clients who have current accounts. I will just come to my Excel and say current. Maybe all those clients who has current accounts. Then I go to my developer tab, come to Visual Basic, then I run. Sorry, I pause the break. Okay, so I'm just going to continue and run this. So if I run this, what do you see? It brings out all those clients whose accounts are current with the bank. So if, for example, I want to know all those customers or clients who has a balance of, let's say, 5 million, I'll just come over. So that means criteria is not account type, criteria is account balance. So I'll just say 5 million naira. All those clients whose balances are, let me say, 2 million and greater than 2 million. So I'll say greater than 2 million naira. Once I've done that, okay, what am I going to do? I'll just go straight to my Visual Basic. I've already programmed the code. So whenever I want it, I'll just come run. So it brings up all those customers who have an account balance greater than 2 million naira. So these have been programmed. So all I'm expected to do is that I'm just going to save this file as a macro-enabled Excel file. So from time to time, since I work with these stacks, I'll just go and run it. And once I run it through the macros, if I click on macros, you'll see we have that macros called use advanced filter in place. So if for a day-to-day activity I wanted to do that, I'll just open my new sheet and I'll just come to the macros and I'll run it. And when I run it, expected that it's going to pop up, provided I've already closed up that Visual Basic window, which was popped up on that other screen. So, but before that can be done, I have to go to my save, come to save as, and then do what? I will go and save this verify. Okay, I'll go and save this verify as a different file type. I'm not going to save it as Excel workbook. I'm going to change it to Excel macro enabled workbook. So that's way from time to time I'll be able to make use of it perfectly. So I hope you have gotten this. I hope you have gotten this correctly, because it's very important. As a programmer, it's very important to be able to do this even as a data analyst. So you can see right here, this becomes the code. So from time to time, I just have to, for this very data set, when I open my VBA, I'll go to the Explorer section, then I'll look for that very object, okay, that very sheet, which you can see it here. I'll be able to do that. So this navigation pattern in which I was moving straight here is not professional at all. If I want to move to Excel, I'm just going to click on this Excel, view Microsoft Excel here. So it will take me here. If I want to go back, I'll just click view code here to take me back. Okay, but this one takes me to a new code. So if I want to go back, this is a new code window. So if I want to continue this data, okay, let's say this is a different day. What I'm going to do when I'm here in this new section, I'm just going to come over. You can see that's the sheet data one, but the code is not still coming up even as we are here. So I'll now come to this little drop down that says view code. So when I click on it, I'm expecting that I'm able to view the code for that very sheet. But even when I clicked on it, it still did not bring it up. Why? Because that's not the code linked up window. It's the model. So this is where it is. So I have to come there and then click on it on the view code. So you can now see that it brings up that code for me. So this is a mistake some persons make at times. If they want to view this, let's say we're out of here, we're in Excel, they click on the view code. Or maybe they open a new screen. They want to work on that same data. They forgot that if they click on that sheet one data, it's not going to bring up that code. If they even click on this, it's not going to bring it up. Why? Because this is the sheet, but what links it up is the models, which is the code window. So every sheet must have a model where you write your code. So if to view the code for a particular sheet, look for its own model and then select on this view code button right here. So when you click on that, you will see the code. So if I'm changing this, I want to see all those clients who have an account balance with this bank from, let's say, 3 million naira upward. I just have to do that. Go to my developer, okay, and then click on view code. It pops up this way. I'll select the module linked up to that sheet one, and the name you will use. You can see data. That's the name of the sheet and the name of the module. So I select it and I click on this view code button. It brings this up. So to execute this command, I'm going to say run. So when I run it, it's going to capture and see it has captured all those clients whose balance is greater than 3 million. So if it was not this, or maybe all those clients who have current accounts and their balance is greater than 3 million, I'll also do the same thing. My Visual Basic, I'll say run. You can see all those clients. It has changed it also. So always minimize it so you can see the full screen as everything is updated. So you can see all those clients that has a current account and also have an account balance of 3 million. Both of all those clients who has a savings account with the bank and has a current account of 3 million. I'll also go to my developer tab, view code, select the code window module name, since it must be similar with the sheet name. Select the view code, then execute. It shows me all those customers or clients who has account type savings and whose account balance is greater than 3 million. So you've seen it. So this is just how you can utilize this very code aspect to be able to do this very task, to execute this very task perfectly without having anything to actually worry yourself about. So I believe this is simplified and clear on that part. But now, how about you want to clear? This only popped up or what we have sorted out or we have extracted out. How about you want to clear this? How do you clear it? And if you go to using basic Excel, you come to data tab and say clear. So since we are using codes, how do you use codes to also clear it? To do that, just go straight to developer tab